was wrong.
The Indiana Fever are on a heater. All of it without Caitlin Clark. Got to be honest. She is a great player. But Sophie Cunningham's been on fire, hitting threes yesterday. They're on a 5-game winning streak with no Caitlin Clark. So, in fact, Caitlin this year, between injuries and struggling, has not been Caitlin Clark, and Indiana still has the 5th best record in the league.
Okay. You know, for some of you newer fans out there, this is something that happens all the time when star players go out. We see this in the NBA literally all the time. They have the audacity. We see this all the time. Steph Curry goes out, KD goes out, LeBron, whatever it may be. There's always like, this team is better without them. Can you imagine this Warriors team won 5 games in a row without Steph Curry? And it's just like, they tried to do that with just most recently they did this with the Boston Celtics and Jason Tatum, trying to argue that the Celtics are actually better with Jason Tatum not playing, which is just insane. It's just insane. And the Fever now are doing a great job of holding their own. Absolutely. But the problem with this season has been that Caitlin Clark was never quite right. She got injured very early on. And then even when she came back, she was clearly never healthy. And then think about how she had like what seemingly looked like such a minor tweak of the injury. And now she's missed more games than she had before. That just shows you what she had been dealing with so much. And it's a bummer. It's a bummer because right now, the WNBA and even the Indiana Fever themselves, it's not popular enough or even interesting enough without the big personalities and the big players. Of course, Caitlin Clark being number one in that. And this is the same thing that we've seen, whether it be with Steph Curry, with Kobe Bryant, with Shaq, Michael Jordan. Like, the problem is that everyone always tries to twist this in a negative, when in reality, it's how it's always been. The Chicago Bulls were, like, owned the NBA universe with fandom just through the roof. Without MJ, how often is anyone talking about the Chicago Bulls? In the 90s, there were a lot of Chicago Bulls fans. You could see jerseys everywhere. Do you really see that right now? I don't think so. Right now, the Golden State Warriors with Steph Curry. Golden State Warriors stock is through the roof. When Steph Curry was not playing in the playoffs, you're just like, why am I watching this? In fact, you only watched it because you were like, please at least win one game, because the injury timeline apparently is if you could just win like one game without Steph, you'll then be able to have Steph back for like game 6 or, whatever exactly what it was. Like, that's what you were waiting for. Watching the finals, watching, the Indiana Pacers take on SGA and, oh my gosh, I can't think of their name right now. The Thunder. It was just like, as soon as Halliburton went down, you're just like, what am I watching? I'm like, I'm not really here to watch the Pacers take on the Thunder. I'm here to watch SGA and Halliburton. That's what I'm here for. Now, there's no doubt other players here that are great. Boston, Sophia Cunningham, Kelsey Mitchell, all of that. Like, no one's denying that. Just like there are plenty of other players that are great in the NBA. OKC versus the Pacers. Like, there was awesome stories and awesome players. Like, that's Siakam. Like, that's all there. That's all there. It just hits differently. There's just no other way to slice it. It just hits differently, and it's what you're not, it's what you're there for. And this hasn't been around long enough where people truly care just yet. So we have been robbed of an exciting season, because right now, even though the Fever have been winning, there's just no denying that people are more there for Caitlin Clark. There are more Caitlin Clark fans than Indiana Fever fans. And that's only growing even more so in all sports. Because once upon a time, you were forced to pretty much only watch whatever they showed in front of you, right? Whether it was football, basketball, baseball, soccer, whatever. Now we have access to everything, right? Once upon a time, I was not. If I wanted to be a Kansas City Chiefs fan, I just had to hope that whatever the games that they were showing to me on Sunday were there, or hoping that they were playing, you know, a prime time game where everyone got to watch it. Otherwise, like, I didn't have access, and you couldn't just jump on YouTube and be like, oh, let me see highlights. Like, you just couldn't do that. You couldn't do that. And so now it's so much easier to really become fans of individual players. And I feel like we see individual fandom even more popular than we did even in the 80s, 90s, whatever. And I do feel as though that's largely what we're observing here. No one's here to see Dallas take on Indiana. They're there to see Paige and Caitlin. That's what they're there for. That's what they're there for. So, there's been plenty of teams throughout the years throughout the WNBA that like win games and go on streaks and this and that. But the personalities, the players, the interest wasn't there. So, you know, it's just I fear that this is like used in a way now to be like, see, Fever are, you know, they don't need Caitlyn, or Caitlin's not that important, or when Caitlin's there, they're not as good. It's just like, that will always be a nonsense narrative, honestly, and make no mistake about it. I remember so vividly they did it with Steph Curry when he went down. They did it with Jason Tatum literally this very season. This very season they did that. They're just constantly they constantly do that. They do this with starting quarterbacks. They tried to make the argument that the Bengals were better with Joe Burrow injured and with Jake Browning. I mean, like, it's just, or that Malik Willis is better than Jordan Love and that the offense is better. And it's just like, guys, what are we doing here, man? Like, it's always absurd to me. And yet it's something that the media consistently and reliably always runs with in these types of situations. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Indiana Fever winning their 5th straight game without Caitlin Clark? Do you feel as though that your interest has waned in the WNBA since Caitlin Clark going out, and just the Fever, you know, as well? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.